For more, let's cross now to London. Correspondent Benedicte Paviot joins us. We're an hour away from that vote getting underway in Parliament. Benedicte, bookmakers say Boris Johnson will keep his job, but will he limp along after this or clear the air?
It's completely impossible to predict whether he's going to vote, whether people are going to vote in their majority to support the Prime Minister or actually really get him to quit. Look, I mean, there are at least three options, aren't there? He loses the vote, he has to quit, and a leadership election is triggered. He wins the vote, but looking very carefully at that margin, it's quite low. He's almost fatally damaged, and he goes within days, or for example, when two by-elections and two Conservative MPs are supposed to be replaced, could be replaced by an opposition one, in which case I think this happens, I think that somehow some people would go and find him and tell him to quit. But it's clear that Boris Johnson doesn't want to quit. So one has to ask oneself, what is a resignation matter? When you know that the Tory MP John Penrose has resigned today, you might ask, who is John Penrose? Well, let me tell you, he is the anti-corruption czar. And he believes, reading the Sugray report that we finally got published, just over a week ago, that actually the Prime Minister has breached the ministerial code. So this is why it is a very divided party, Tory party. It is a very divided country. Some reporters have been to the Prime Minister's constituency, and there it seems to be very divided as well. And what Tory MPs will be weighing up is this the man to lead them into the next general election? There is speculation going on, and it is merely speculation, that if Boris Johnson, the UK Prime Minister currently, actually wins by any margin tonight, that he would call a snap general election in the hope of winning it. I don't know what he's exactly said. We will perhaps get some leaks in the coming minutes behind closed doors to his Tory MPs to try and persuade them to vote for him, to support him. But there is a really angry mood. The word liar, the word can't be trusted is being used behind closed doors. It's a secret ballot. So MPs can say publicly one thing and in private do quite another.
And it's, again, Boris Johnson, for all his foils, proved a winner. They have a whopping majority in that building behind you. So why is the leadership challenging happening now at this time? You mentioned those by-elections. Why not wait till then?
That was the thinking. Look, let's remember, the revelations started coming. It was the Daily Mirror that published some photos back in January. We were then all marched up to the top of a hill, indeed so were Conservative MPs, and even trying to be as impartial as possible, as neutral as possible. We thought we were then possibly going to see Boris Johnson get a vote of confidence against him. It didn't happen. There was delay, there was a possible police inquiry, then the beginning of the Sugray report, then that got stopped and delayed because there was then the police inquiry. So the fact of the matter is that, anyway, it's come now. We thought it would come perhaps after those by-elections. We know that some MPs put in letters saying, I want a vote of no confidence in our leader, in Boris Johnson, as our leader and as Prime Minister, but I don't want it to go in either during the Jubilee, it must go in after the Jubilee. So of them said month on month on month that they would wait for the publication of the Sugray report. They've gone back to their constituencies, they've spoken, they've received emails, they've had phone calls, and clearly those Tory MPs voting against him, whether they're saying it publicly or not, or those who will vote tonight, no longer trust him to be a vote winner. He's gone for them from being a vote winner to being a liability. But you're quite right, this is extraordinary, because back in 2019, Boris Johnson called a snap general election, and he won. Not only did he win, he won comfortably, as you alluded to. Not only did he win comfortably, he won by the best margin, 80 seats, since Margaret Thatcher. But so much has happened, whether it's Brexit, going into lockdown late, we still haven't had an inquiry about that, contracts awarded to some would say friends or people who knew people. I'm looking at a COVID wall, François, that has hearts for, I don't know, it's like 800 meters with names, with dates of people who respected the strict lockdown and who feel very angry at Boris Johnson for the Partygate. 83 people fined, 126 fines, the most publicly, officially fined address in the United Kingdom, one of whom is a serving Prime Minister who's had to pay a fixed penalty notice. All of this unprecedented. How extraordinary to be covering the Jubilee, the head of state of the United Kingdom, the 96-year-old monarch, who clearly has brought out people who are not necessarily ardent royalists, to having the head of government, Boris Johnson, and this vote of confidence tonight. So, yes, he could win it, but if we look at Margaret Thatcher, if we look at Theresa May, Margaret Thatcher won the vote, but had to quit within days. Theresa May won the vote again, but the point is she quit within 6 to 7 months. So when you ask me, could he limp on? Yes, he could, but for how long? It's not if, it's a question of when he goes.
Benedicte Paviot reporting live from London. Many thanks, and we'll be crossing back as that vote unfolds.